everybody, welcome. I'm so excited to have everyone here from the Boom Chakalaka Towards Success group. And yes, today is the day you get to see the guest expert, Heather. And you know our whole week is on stress. Oh, hi Heather, how are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me here on your group. Again, my name is Heather Lynn Darby. I'm with Excellent Nutrition and Fitness, and I'm really excited to be talking with you about stress today.
Yes, thank you. Why did Heather say again? I need to share my story with you. So, guys, today was one of those days where stress was just too much. And Heather's going to tell us a little bit more about it, but there were a lot of elements out of my control, and you won't believe it. We actually recorded this webinar a few hours prior to this one, and I was under the impression that it was recording. And guess what? My stress levels went through the roof when I found out that it did not record at all. But you know what they say? Everything happens for a reason. So what can I say? Well, let's get going because, you know, Heather, I would just say thank you so much for doing this again and really just being understanding and just being an awesome female entrepreneur and coach. You're absolutely amazing, and I cannot wait for this group to hear what you have to say. So please tell us, what do you do? Let us get to know you a little bit better.
Yeah, thanks so much. I'm a certified personal trainer and nutritionist, and I specialize in plant-based nutrition. So as a personal coach, I help people learn to eat intuitively, survive chronic stress, and recover from sedentary lifestyle and sitting.
Oh, a mouthful, but yeah, you're an expert indeed, eh?
Yeah, kind of the intersection of nutrition and health and stress.
I love it. Guys, you gotta hear what Heather's got to say today. It's really, really exciting. So let's get into it. So we know that stress is currently a buzzword at the moment because, especially for women at this stage, there's 123 days until Christmas, which is kind of like stressing me out a little bit. But please tell us a little bit more, is stress really a problem? Is it something we should be concerned about in our corporate career and entrepreneur and businesses?
It absolutely is something that people should be aware of. I want to take a second to talk about what stress actually is and how it impacts our body. Stress is the body's reaction to any external or internal event. And then either your body returns back to its baseline normal, or it will grow. It will develop an adaptation to be able to handle stress better in the future. And that ability to handle stress and return to baseline is called resilience. So we're familiar with the classic emotional stress, but there are several other sources of stress, and I'd like to touch on those really quickly to give you an overview.
Yeah, I think it's really important that we find out what those are, because I mean, a lot of people just think it's just about the emotions. Please, Lord.
It's that and environmental stressors include such as allergies or blue light exposure or toxic exposures such as mold. There are nutrition stresses on your body, such as food sensitivities or nutrition deficiencies. We all know that inflammation is the body's stress response for the immune system to help us get better. So there is then again the emotional stress, the family, work, financial stresses, and then a general sense of overwhelm. And this is relatively new in modern society, where there's increased stimulation and decreased duration of sleep for a lot of people. So,
especially someone with toddler, just saying.
Yeah. So when you think about that as a whole, you want to categorize it into the idea that stress can be useful, and that you can remember that as useful use stress, and such as exercise might be categorized into that kind of good stress. There's also distress, which is what we characteristically think about as like it's bad for us. There's also the idea of the total amount of all your stress over time, and that's called allostatic load, your total cumulative stress, whether it's good stress or bad stress. Wow. So And as you know, in modern living, as you said, we get stuck in high gear for too long. So that can start to wear down the balance of our systems. So I have a quick example of how our nervous system works. Just like our muscles have one side is going to contract and the other side relaxes, right? We have a similar balance in our nervous system with the sympathetic and the parasympathetic nervous system. The rest and digest is parasympathetic, and the fight and flight is sympathetic. So it's kind of like a little teeter-totter. If one side goes up, the other side is suppressed. So if you're all stressed out, your fight and flight is high, your rest and digest is going to be suppressed. And if this happens for too long, you'll get worn down from that chronic stress. So you can stimulate the rest and digest and quell and relax that stress response so that you can repair. So there are several interactions about how you can intervene in your stress and set up environmental situations that make it easier to come back to that resting state.
Sure. Oh my word, Heather. Yeah, I didn't even know that. That's fascinating. Wow. So tell me, obviously there are some warning signs we should have a look at. Can you suggest a few that we should, really look into?
Definitely. There are several common, I wouldn't categorize them as warning signs so much as physical indications that you are experiencing, your body is experiencing a reaction to stress. So common effects of stress on mood and behavior are generalized restlessness or anxiety, like emotional anxiety, a lack of motivation or focus, and headaches and facial tics. If you get a tic in your eye or like in your lip, those are easy to tell from just looking at yourself or feeling yourself. Yeah. You may also find yourself over or under eating. Just it depends. People go either way. You might find also some stomach upset, fatigue, and possibly even chest pain, neck pain, shoulder pain, or back pain. And these are not warning signs again. They're just how your body is trying to talk to you and let you know that you're experiencing stress so that you can understand that it's doing something, right?
A lot of the times, Heather, we don't really listen to our body, right? We just keep pushing.
That's so true.
And that comes to my next question, is there a link between stress and well-being and wellness and particularly illnesses?
There really is. So if you disregard and kind of don't listen to those signals from your body for too long, and that chronic stress does wear you down, there is a direct relationship between a dismaying number of health conditions, actually. I'm just going to list them real quick.
Okay.
Diabetes, cardiovascular disease, autoimmune disorders, digestive problems like irritable bowel syndrome, mental health problems like depression, sleep problems, changes in sex drive, and like I said, the physical painful manifestations of migraine and back pain. And there's more. However, that being said, the stress response conveys information between your brain and your body. Your brain tells your body what to do, and your body tells your brain how you feel. This is a two-way communication, and you can intervene on either side. So you can have cognitive interventions, you can have thinking, relaxing thoughts, go into your happy place. You can have physical interactions such as stretching or slow, deep breathing exercises to calm the rate of your heart. And then your heart says to your mind, oh, I'm calmed down, things must be better. So can you see how that connection works?
Yes. And I think early on you called that the feedback loop, if I'm not mistaken.
It is a feedback loop. So if you get into a negative feedback loop, you're going to start to feel worse and worse. If you can break into that somehow and start a positive feedback loop, perhaps you resolve some pain and then your depression lifts.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, I'm absolutely loving this. I don't even think any one of us knew that there was a loop happening between our brain and our bodies and things like that. We just keep hustling, like I said. And brings me to my next point is that are there any tips that you can give us to basically bust the stress, or any advice on how to make sure that stress doesn't affect our well-being?
There definitely is. I'm going to break out one form of stress that I feel is very important for many people to know about, because it's sly. You don't think that this is something that's hurting you, but it is sitting. Sitting for too long tells your muscles that you're inactive. And so your metabolism drops in the cells of your muscles down to about 30% of normal if you were standing and walking around. So everything kind of slows down and quietens when you are seated, say at your desk. However, we have our work stress, and that creates a stress response which makes cortisol be released into your bloodstream. And one of the main actions of this stress hormone is to raise blood glucose, blood sugar, so that your muscles can fight or flight. Well, when you're sitting, you're getting mixed signals, and that material in your bloodstream is not being drawn into the cells and used for energy. It's just building up there. All the stress hormones, all the blood sugar, and all the insulin that's ready for you to go is left unused. So that's where you can have some of the physical breakdowns that start to cause diabetes, cardiovascular disease, and immune dysfunctions. So one easy way to interrupt that cycle of extended sitting is to simply stand up for 2 to 3 minutes, like 2 or 3 times an hour. 2 to 3 minutes, like twice an hour, and that will wake up those muscles and start to use up a little bit of that, get your blood circulation going and using up some of those materials from and dissipate the stress.
Heather, this is really interesting, because a lot of corporates and a lot of entrepreneurs are seated most of the time, to get through admin, to hustle, to do whatever they have to do. And they're either behind an iPad, a phone, or a laptop, and we're always sitting. And this is such an fact that you're bringing across. We never once, seem to think that we have to stand up so regularly, and that it has such an immense effect on our health. Wow.
Right.
Is there any other tips you want to give through?
I do. I want to give 3 general ideas of how you can address your stress, how you can intervene and reduce the allostatic load. 1, you can stimulate your parasympathetic nervous system, that rest and digest. 2, you can use good stress to develop resilience. And 3, you can use that resilience and habits and lifestyle modifications to reduce distress, to reduce that bad stress. So several ways you can stimulate your parasympathetic nervous system to get that rest and digest raised is being outdoors in a green space. It's very nice. Breathing resets, so a slower pace of breathing for a minute or 2. It works well with those standing breaks, so that you are breathing in and out either an equal amount slowly, or maybe your exhale is a little bit longer, and that's very relaxing. Several other things are creativity, such as coloring or doing a craft, singing, and smiling, if you can believe it. I love your smile so much, and I'm going to tell you a little secret about smiling. The nerve that runs your parasympathetic nervous system is called the vagus, and it runs from your brain down the side of your body, and when it's near your ear, it recognizes where your inner ear bone is. If you're smiling, it turns on the parasympathetic nervous system because it moves that bone. Wow. Then it comes down into your throat, and if you're singing, that also stimulates it.
Yay!
So,
my favorite thing.
Happy way.
Yay! Smiling and singing. I knew it worked.
Yes. And finally, strong social connections, close friendships, and social community is also very supportive of people's parasympathetic nervous system.
And that's a really great point that you bring across. I see now that all over the world that female entrepreneur groups are becoming even stronger, Facebook groups, and we're actually incorporating more of a sense of community. There we go. That's the word I was looking for. And it really does help, just to chat to someone. Even just chatting to you now on this webinar, I feel actually 10 times more relaxed.
Nice. Yes, even a virtual connection. If you're making a personal connection with someone, has the same effect and builds friendships.
Yes,
So
I
that's
absolutely love it. Oh,
now
yeah, sorry.
I was going to say, in using good stress to develop resilience, these are things that we may be familiar with. Just regular old exercise is going to help you grow and be stronger. And that resilience transfers over not just from physical stress, but also into emotional stress.
Yeah.
Infrared sauna has a very similar effect. The heat stress that we get from sauna also has a carryover effect into other areas of our life.
Yeah, and
So
sorry, and I actually said to you, Heather, that the last webinar that we had, the attempted one, that I'm going to book myself into more spa treatments, you know?
oh, yes. And oftentimes people's gyms will have a wet sauna and a dry sauna. So
Yes.
those are easy ways to access.
Yes, I absolutely love that. I didn't even know that. Wow.
I know. And sometimes when I feel too worn out to exercise, I might just go to the sauna.
Yeah,
And
you don't
it's
feel
no
guilty
more addition to my stress load because it feels so relaxing.
I know, exactly, especially and like I said, you don't feel guilty about not going to the gym. You go into the sauna, so it's also going to be.
That's right, exactly. The third way that I mentioned of reducing aggravating stress, it's really interesting. We talked a little bit about the brain-gut connection. In your gut, you have your microbiome, which is the bacteria which help us digest our food. And they actually eat fiber. So this can really only come from plant sources. So making sure that you have a wide variety of plant foods such as vegetables, beans, fruits, whatever may be fresh in season or frozen at your grocery are both good for providing this.
Yeah, especially for on-the-go moms or for corporate career-driven people, they sometimes don't have time to cook that healthy meal, but knowing that they can bring that into their diet is just great. Yeah, sorry, and I actually wanted to bring to attention as well, in South Africa, we currently are going aloe vera mad now. And would that also count as a fiber plant-based?
Aloe vera is considered a prebiotic, a food that our microbiome eats. It depends on the preparation of whether it has fiber, but there are other kinds of prebiotics which aloe vera does include. It's definitely something that people can consider adding to their supplement regimen if they find that it's helpful.
Oh, wow. Fabulous. Heather, you know what? You've got so much knowledge that I'd love for you to share to this group even more. Can you please tell us where we can find you and what can we get from you, especially for those that are really interested to connect further with you?
Yeah, absolutely. I want to jump back and add one more thing. I wanted to mention the benefit of restorative sleep. That's when all the recovery does happen. So make sure that you're allowing yourself enough time to have at least, even if you can't get to sleep, to allot enough time for it. And avoid as much as possible in the evening lights from our devices. So there is an application called Flux. It's f.lux, and you can put that on your computer and your phone, and it will reduce the blue light, which disrupts your circadian rhythm and can cause your sleep rhythm to be out of whack. That affects your cortisol, and you can see how the cycles come full circle.
Geez, I didn't even know there was an app for that, Heather. Sure, thank you for sharing that valuable tip there. I'm definitely going to go have a look into that. Wow.
You're so welcome.
And they're also jumping the gun, so sorry about that.
No, that's absolutely all right. I have a lot of this information available on my social media, so I'd love to connect with people. People can can find where I am online. It's at heatherlynndarby.com. So that's just my name, heatherlynndarby.com. You can find my social media there. I have a few Facebook groups. I'd love to connect with people. And if people want to find out more free information, I have resources that are available for download. If they decide they want to work with me, I work with people either on a one-on-one basis or in small group coaching programs. And my most recent program available is a 52-week transformation that includes live coaching, Facebook support with your group, and as well as personal training for the whole year. So it's an amazing opportunity. And I'm starting people at the beginning of each month.
Oh my word, that's amazing. 52 weeks. Yeah. Wow. And you get so much value for that as well. And you've got resources on your website. Guys, you must go to her website. I'll pop the link in definitely. And I'm going to share this on all the platforms. And please, guys, sharing is caring. Someone might need to know this information, a loved one, a family member, a friend who is under tremendous stress, guys. Share this. You never know what difference you can make. Heather, do you have any last final thoughts?
I do. I saw a really great TED Talk by Kelly McGonigal, and she has done a lot of research on stress. And over the last 10 years, she's been telling people a lot of the information I've shared with you. However, it came to her attention that a study showed that thinking stress is bad for you makes stress worse for you. So she is suggesting that if we change our perspective and our mindset around stress, that it's helping us understand what our body is wanting from us, then we can actually thrive from stress. So it doesn't have to be all bad.
No, it doesn't. It's actually just having to take the time just to listen to what your body is saying. Because, you know, your body and mind, it needs to be connected, just like you mentioned. So I'm definitely going to have a look at that TED Talk as well. So that's really exciting. Wow, thank you.
I'll make sure to send a link for that in case anyone's interested.
Oh, thank you so much, Heather. I really enjoyed having this webinar with you. I don't know about you guys out there. Please share, like, comment. Let us know how you felt this went. We'd love to hear from you. I'm sure you'd love to hear from everyone, Heather. Guys, please connect with us. Please connect with Heather. Go look at those. I actually just downloaded my own freebie from you, Heather. That infographic was amazing. It blew my mind. A little bit of TMI, I actually printed it and put it on my fridge. So it's in my face, and I'm going to really focus on that. So thank you for that valuable resource. Guys, head over onto Heather's website. You will not regret it. There's some juicy, healthy tips there, which you all need. Yeah, Heather, wow. I just want to say thank you so much for joining, and thank you for bearing with me, for joining me for the second time. I learned actually way more as of the second time, so I know there's always a reason for everything. And yes, just thank you so much for taking the time to being here. Yes.
I'll look forward to talking with you again soon. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Heather. Bye.
Bye.